Okay, so when we're talking about developing a surface, sometimes students might find it difficult. So when we're talking about developments, we should all be familiar with the idea of flattening out our surface so that we can see every part of the surface in this true shape. But when we're looking at roofs and tell us to develop it, people might go, oh, I might need to do an auxiliary view in order to see the true shape of this, and then go off on another sheet, and then you'll be doing a lot of hassle for things that are very simply explained, because students might not be able to actually understand what they're doing. They might know what they're doing, but they mightn't understand it. So what I've simply done is I've just created this 3D model of a surface that students might not be familiar with looking at. So if you were to draw this out, you'd see that you'd have a surface in plan, in elevation, sorry. Then you'd have another surface in plan. So you'd have two surfaces being interconnected, and they'll be pitched at an angle of, I think it's 30 degrees or 60 degrees or whatever, right? But in this question, what I'm not focusing on is I'm just trying to focus on how you get students to understand what we're doing in order to get the true shape of surface A. Now, most students could go, okay, they'll go normal 2, and we'll find the true shape of surface A, project an auxiliary, and you'll get the true shape of surface A. And you're right, but it can be done very simply using rebatment. And so what I've done is I've created this model, but then in order to further develop it, what I've done is I've created another model, and it's got surface A again, right? But at this time it's hollow, right? So what I've done is I've used sheet metal in SolidWorks in order to explain that what we are simply doing is we have a hinge here in this surface. It's being hinged off of the true length of this line, because in plan, if we were to go into plan of this surface, we can see that in plan, this view is going to be the true length. So go back to our sheet metal. What we can simply do is by one button, I can flatten out my surface and develop it. So what we're doing is, all we are doing is we're simply rotating the surface A off of this point here. And what we're doing is we're rebatting it, using rebatment to further develop and further explain to students how we're actually rebatting it, what's being done in our 2D drawing, in order to explain how we develop surface A using rebatment.